UNL Extension cow-calf specialist Rick Rasby says now is the time to start thinking about supplement options for cattle. We talked with Rick last week and started by asking about the general condition for those livestock across the state.
We've really had an easy winter, and so for the most part cows are in good body condition. And I would say that we've had a good calving season due to the nice weather too. And so I really think things are looking good, at least for the cow-calf and the cow-calf industry in Nebraska. And again, calves are going to be worth a lot of money, at least with cow inventory being down. And so, you know, keeping them healthy and keeping them going in the right direction is going to be pretty important.
People are feeling pretty lucky after that winter that we had.
Yeah, isn't that the truth?
Well, we're going to talk about supplements today. Right now, what are some things that people should be thinking about right now as we, start to get into the warmer temperatures and getting out to pastures again?
Well, one of the things that we need to think about is that in some areas going to be grass tetany or grass staggers, and that's caused by low magnesium. And so the idea there would be to have a grass tetany mineral out there to get around that. And so, feed this mineral starting about 30 days before spring turnout. So we're getting pretty close to, spring turnout in some conditions or in some areas. And so, having them on some grass tetany mineral will be important right now. And then, the problem with grass tetany is it happens when you get some cold weather followed by warm weather. You can get this growth that's not stable throughout the growing season or growing time period. And so once that growing period and the weather conditions kind of start to stable out and the grass continues to grow at a rate that's more normal, then you can probably pull them off the grass tetany mineral.
And as we move off of that and into summer, what are the other minerals then you start to work in?
Well, the important one would be salt. I think you need to supplement salt year round, and so having cows have access to free choice salt's important. Salt's important in a lot of reactions in the body, and so it's important to have that out there. And I think for the most part, supplementing some phosphorus at least through the breeding season is going to be pretty important. And whether you need a full 12-12 calcium phosphorus, that's probably debatable. But something out there that's probably about 6% phosphorus, 6% calcium, at least through the breeding season, is going to be pretty important.
Relatively inexpensive this year, or is it going to be as expensive as just anything else?
Well, you take a look at it, the most expensive component in that mineral program is going to be phosphorus. So make sure that one is that you kind of supply some phosphorus at least through the breeding season, and then make sure that they don't overeat, right? Mm-hmm. And so follow label directions and make sure they're eating probably about what they're supposed to be eating according to that label.
And then back to the salt after as well, or not?
Well, salt would be during that time period too, but once you get past the breeding season, you take a look at a lot of the grasses that we'd have here in Nebraska, is that we're going to be pretty close to meeting that calcium and phosphorus need for that cow. And so whether you need to supplement a lot of calcium and phosphorus after the breeding season is debatable and really up to the rancher.
Speaking of up to the rancher, you were mentioning micronutrients, and you said that's maybe a situation where it's going to be case-by-case basis.
Boy, and that's the challenge with things like copper and those kinds of things, is that it is dependent on ranch to ranch, and so kind of making some kind of blanket recommendation for those kind of micronutrients is a little bit more difficult. If you think you have some type of micronutrient deficiency, you might want to start out with trace mineralized salt, which is fairly inexpensive. And so going that route might be the way to go if you think you have those kinds of problems.
Rasby says even with favorable calf prices going into fall, producers need to monitor high input prices.